Hello everyone, I finally got around to watching the Mortal Kombat film. I had zero intentions of doing a review for the movie, that's why this video is so late, until I watched through the film, got to the end, and there was one scene in particular that made me go, screw it, I guess I'll do a review. So, let's get started. So let's start off with all the things that were good about it. The fight scenes in this movie was great, but that's a double-edged sword. We will touch on the other half of that later. The CGI in this film was spectacular. Everything from Raiden's lightning to SubZero's ice attacks, those all looked absolutely fantastic. Even down to full characters like, Reptile, he looked amazing. And Goro, I believe his name is, the giant four-armed guy. I don't know why I forget his name all the time. He looked great as well. Kano was absolutely fantastic in this film. Props to the actor. That was a 10 out of 10 performance, and he carried the entire movie. If you don't like this sarcastic asshole type of humor, you're not really going to enjoy the film as much because Kano does not stop talking throughout the entire film. However, if you do like that type of humor, he will have you genuinely laughing the entire film. And lastly, this film has fatalities, which was amazing to see. I did not expect that. And also moves directly from the games themselves. So there are things to like about this film, but let's move over to cons. So what disappointed me right from the start? The fact that this movie caters more towards new viewers of the franchise. The Mortal Kombat franchise is 30 years old, and I don't think we need any more of that. So this in turn causes the reintroduction and the re-explaining of the backgrounds of characters that we're already familiar with. Because this film caters to new viewers, you are given a character to follow throughout the movie, and that character isn't a character we're familiar with. He is a new character to the franchise named Cole with his own sets of powers. And you would think that because he's the main character of this film, because he's the main character in a Mortal Kombat film, he would be somewhat interesting. And the answer is no. He sucks. His lines suck. He's boring. His power that he gets, we'll touch on later, that sucks as well. Out of everyone in this entire film, the newest character to Mortal Kombat, the character you spend the time with the most because he's the main character of the film, is the least interesting. With that being said, Sonya Blade is the other character that you see the most in this film. She fights alongside and travels along with the main character being Cole, who is the character that you follow in the film. I would prefer Sonya Blade over Cole be the main character. To me, it just makes more sense, and she was way more interesting. Earlier, I said that Kano carried this film, and that is a pro for Kano and having a super interesting character, but every other character fell flat, especially in comparison to him. And that brings me over to the fights. Earlier, I said that the fights were great, but they were a double-edged sword, and that's because the fights were super rushed and super short. And saying rushed is an understatement. Like, they were like 2 minutes. And within those 2 minutes, the fights were done well, but they were super rushed. You don't even really remember them afterwards. So final verdicts before we go over into the spoiler section of this film where I can explain everything. Right there in the middle, 5 out of 10. And if it wasn't for Kano, this would be a 4.5. It would be a 4. If it wasn't for Kano carrying the movie, this movie would be a 4. It's as if he's the only one that understood that this is a Mortal Kombat film and everything is supposed to be out there and over the top and everything down to the fighting. All right, guys, we're now moving over into the spoiler section of the film. And for those of you that haven't seen the movie, go check it out. I rated it accordingly. It is your average film. And I hope to see you guys in the spoiler section. All right, see you there. So at the very beginning of this film, the dispute between SubZero and Scorpion, the fight was absolutely fantastic. It took place in what, like 1400s Japan, and this was before SubZero became SubZero, and his name is Bihan, and then you have Scorpion. I can't remember his name. I don't even remember if they really said it, but before he became Scorpion, you got to see him living his life happy with his wife and his kids, doing everyday things. Scorpion left to get some water and came back to Bihan. Again, Bihan is the name of the character who later goes on to become SubZero. Bihan slaughtered Scorpion's family, and he says it's for the Lin Kuei, but I think, and it was cool. The fight scenes were absolutely incredible, and this was the best part of the movie, and it seemed like a whole different movie. My only problem with that is the fact that you have no idea why he did it at all. He says it's for the Lin Kuei, but did Scorpion do something to the Lin Kuei? Because it just seems like Bihan is insane and he's running around killing people's families. And Bihan, i.e. SubZero, says that multiple times throughout the film. He does something and it's always, for the Lin Kuei, but again, we have no idea. It doesn't mean anything. They easily could have taken the time to even throw in a line to elaborate as to what was going on with that, because it doesn't mean anything to you. Is it that Scorpion did something to the Lin Kuei? Did Scorpion's clan do something to the Lin Kuei? Did the Lin Kuei send SubZero out to fight Scorpion's clan, or is the Lin Kuei completely wiped out and SubZero is doing things on his own to revenge the Lin Kuei? Like, these are just questions that you have. You have no idea what's going on. The only thing that you pick up on is that SubZero wants Scorpion and his bloodline completely wiped off of the face of the earth. Another thing with this film is that they introduce changes to the Mortal Kombat lore that it's not a pro or con. I don't particularly mind it, but I could have done without it. By that, I'm referring to the fact that anyone in this film can become the new Chosen One by killing the previous Chosen One. The Chosen One in this film has a mark, and if you were to kill the Chosen One, that mark would disappear from their body and appear somewhere on your body, making you the new Chosen One. This gives the new Chosen One powers, which they have to discover how to use, and the responsibility of participating in the tournament. Speaking of the tournament, this film tries to do something different by getting rid of the tournament. They don't successfully execute that at all. Instead, they take this very roundabout way of having the tournament happen anyway. So it's not the official tournament, but instead what happens in the film is that Raiden separates everybody and people fight one-on-one anyway, as if it was the tournament. Another big issue I have with this film is the fact that part of the main purpose of this film is to, again, when you kill somebody that is the Chosen One, you become the new Chosen One, and with that you get new responsibilities, meaning that you participate in the tournament and you work under Raiden and all that stuff, but also you get powers, but you have to figure out how to use them. So one of the main points of this film is the fact that the characters you follow train under Kung Lao and Liu Kang in order to figure out how to use their powers. And you spend a good portion of the film following exactly that, everybody training under Kung Lao and Liu Kang. Kung Lao, by the way, is another awesome character in this film. But somehow Sonya Blade, who never had the mark of the Chosen One until she killed Kano, which, by the way, I was extremely worried about the rest of the film after that, because like I said before, Kano really carried this film. So anyways, yeah, Sonya Blade killed Kano. She became the new Chosen One and got the mark and all that stuff. And very quickly after getting the mark, with no training at all, figures out how to use her powers like that, like super fast. It made no sense. Like, what? Which brings us over to Cole, the new character in the Mortal Kombat franchise, the main character that you follow in this film, and he is of Scorpion's bloodline as well. Yet he is the weakest link of this entire movie. Cole is a punching bag who just gets his ass beat the entire film. So the power that he gets is appropriate. He basically gets this armor that covers his arms. It stops at the waist and it stops at the neck. And essentially how the armor works is that the more punches he takes, you can see the armor start to glow, and then he's able to double that power and punch back with it, which he only ever uses once in the entire film. Even the way Cole unlocked his powers was strange. He unlocked his powers by fighting and defeating Goro, you know, the four-armed guy, and at that point, the film transitioned into this weird, like, your standard superhero movie where Cole's daughter ran outside and was like, "Oh, nice suit, Dad." Goro was treated like your standard monster in a monster movie. And then at the end of the film, you have this scene here where they were clearly just stepping on a white blanket, which was supposed to be SubZero's ice. And that was the scene that made me go, I'm gonna just do a review, because it looks so bad. And that's pretty much it. I don't have a lot of positive things to say about this film, but let me know how you guys feel about all this in the comment section. Again, I am so sorry that this video is so late, but I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.